In this nugget, we're going to take a look at print and printer technologies, and you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, we already did this. We looked at a small office, home office multifunction device, and you're right. And guess what? We're going to troubleshoot printers together, and we're going to talk about how to maintain printers together. This nugget will be a bit shorter because I just want to tour you on the 5 main print technologies that you should be aware of and some key terminology about each one. And the knowledge you need really starts right here. What are those 5 types of printer technologies? There's laser. This would be in a big office environment because laser printers can do an unbelievable amount of printing for you very efficiently, and the quality can be amazing. Inkjet, we looked at in the small office, home office category. This is common there because it is so relatively inexpensive, and you can get decent photographs in addition to documents printed with spraying ink onto the page. There's a thermal printer that you might see in like a point of sale type environment to print receipts. There's the old-fashioned impact printer like a dot matrix where it is striking the page, and the only benefit we get to this technology anymore is the fact that we can make 2 copies. Yeah, you can have a bottom sheet of paper that it will also strike in hard enough in order to make a second copy. And then there's the virtual printer. Virtual printers are installed inside your Windows software, for example, and it allows you to do things like print to a PDF or print to a file. Now let's explore the print technologies in the order that CompTIA gave us, and we begin with the laser printer. The printer controller is literally a large circuit board, and it really acts like the motherboard for your printer. Any RAM or processors that are going to be needed to convert data into a page that the laser printer can print are going to be handled here. By the way, laser printers are called page printers, and that's because they don't work a line at a time. They will compose an entire page in memory and then print that entire page. Another reason they're so fast, by the way. The imaging drum is typically going to be packaged with the toner, and the toner is going to be a powdery mixture of a plastic resin and iron oxide. This is going to allow it to be melted and fused to the paper. The imaging drum that you have is light sensitive, so it can be written to with the laser scanning assembly that we'll discuss in a moment. There's the primary corona. In some environments, this is called the charge corona, and this is going to apply a uniform negative charge to the drum at the beginning of the print cycle. And I'll literally share with you the overall print cycle that goes on inside a laser printer. Then there's a laser scanning assembly where a laser beam neutralizes that strong negative charge on the drum in certain areas, so our toner will stick to the drum in those areas. And by the way, toner is something that everybody seems to know around the office because this is what we have to replace often with our laser printers. Sometimes when we replace the toner, we're actually replacing the print drum because that is inside the toner cartridge as well. There's the paper transport assembly. This moves the paper through the printer, and this is going to have a lot of rubberized rollers and transfer belts. And when things start to go wrong with this component, that's when we have paper jams. And paper jams are the most common problem you're going to run into when it comes to your laser printer. Some of these things start to wear out and then grab multiple sheets of paper at a time, and then we have problems. Another unfortunate place that we can get those paper jams are with the pickup rollers, which are rubber wheels that are going to grab the paper and feed it in. There's separate pads used to separate sheets in a stack of printing paper that you've provided the printer. Then there's that transfer corona that applies a uniform positive charge to the paper. We have the high voltage power supply that delivers high voltages needed to make the printing process happen. And this is converting our 120 volt household AC current into high DC voltages. So there's a DC power supply and then a fusing assembly that melts the plastic resin in the toner so that it adheres to the paper. You have a duplex assembly. Remember, duplex assemblies allow us to print easily on both print both sides of a page of paper, allowing us to really save on paper. And don't forget, you may have special components for collating. Collating is where we have this big, 12-page presentation and we need 10 copies of it, and you have the printer do all of that organization for you, so you can just grab those off the printer and hand them to your presentees. And I seriously doubt this is something that you would want to memorize for your exam by any stretch, but it is important to realize that this whole laser printing process, these things are so fast and so incredibly accurate with their printing because it's not a simple process like we might have with a thermal or an inkjet printer. There's step one, which is conditioning, and we spoke of this. This is when you have something called the primary or charge corona within the toner cartridge get a high voltage. This high voltage is used to apply this uniform negative charge to the surface of a photosensitive drum. Then there's the writing, and the writing is with the laser turning on and scanning the drum from side to side. Then there's step 3, the developing, and this is going to have the drum holding that electrical representation of the image being printed, and it's going to have discrete electrical charges that need to be converted into something that can be transferred to a piece of paper. So this is where you have toner transferred to the areas that were exposed in the writing step. Then you have transferring, where the developed image is rotated into position and the controller notifies the registration rollers that the paper should be fed through. So you get the paper coming through and underneath the photosensitive drum, and the process is transferred to the paper in this appropriately named step. In the fusing step, the toner image is made permanent. And then finally, there's a cleaning part of the laser printing process, where a rubber blade inside the cartridge scrapes any toner left on the drum into a used toner receptacle inside the cartridge. So as you probably gathered, I'm not fixing a laser printer myself. No, thank you. I've never been a laser printer technician. I don't plan on being a laser printer technician. And even for the maintenance of laser printers, as I'll talk to you about in that nugget, we oftentimes contract that out. But when it comes to an inkjet, it all changes. You can take care of this yourself. Notice there's not a lot going on here. We have the ink cartridges. We have a print head. Now, what's interesting about the print head is it may be in the cartridge itself. So you may be replacing a lot when you replace a printer cartridge, including the print head, the little series of nozzles that sprays ink onto the paper. So that's pretty cool. There's a roller, and the roller is inside here, and it's going to pull the paper through. There's a feeder on the outside of the machine where you're going to load the paper. There may be a duplex assembly for printing on both sides. There's a carriage and belt that's going to swing this whole thing back and forth across the pages. And just like with a laser printer, a big aspect of you setting this up may be the initial calibration. Something else, as I'll express to you in the maintenance nugget, is you may be cleaning the print heads if you're getting weird print. Just be careful about that, because as I'll tell you then, you are wasting ink when you do that, or at least using ink, so you want to be careful. You'll get people addicted to cleaning their print heads, and they're wondering why they're going through so much ink. So if you're dealing with thermal printers today, like I said, it's probably a point of sale receipt printer. They're super simple. There's just a feed assembly and heating element, and really all you need to worry about is keeping these clean. I'll review that with you in the maintenance section of our printer maintenance nugget. With the impact printer, boy, it's hard to find a picture of these days. This is like a dot matrix where it's slapping against the paper and you can make multiple copies like I alluded to. There's a print head, a ribbon, and a tractor feed. You are finding the new ribbon to replace the old one, and those get more and more expensive as those devices tend to die off. So let's wrap up this nugget real quick, just showing you your virtual printer options. So we jump to our Windows machine as an example, and we notice there's these weird printers in here. Print to a PDF, print to an XPS document writer, send it to OneNote. This is actually pretty cool. So let's say you have something on screen and someone wants it as a PDF. Maybe I'm looking at my book royalty statement and I need to send this off to a bank to prove my income. I can file print to PDF, and now I've got that on PDF and I can send that to them. The XPS is just a Windows format for printing stuff. So you could send someone this XPS file. They can't manipulate it, but they could print it. So printing to files is a really neat thing. There's the image option you'll often see. It'll say like print to image. So now you're making like a standard JPEG image of that document that you wanted to print. So let's wrap this up with a pop quiz. I know how much you love those pop quizzes. What might the toner cartridge also contain? Now, right away, we have to figure out, okay, what are they talking about? Well, if they're talking about a toner cartridge, they're talking about that big workhorse of a laser printer at the office. Might it contain the laser, the paper transport, the HVPS, or the drum? And you know the correct answer. You got it. We mentioned it. That toner cartridge and drum are often packaged together as something that you need to replace. So great job on this pop quiz. So you and I need to be responsible for 5 different types of print technologies: laser, thermal, impact, virtual, and of course, inkjet. We'll have much more to say on printers as we move throughout these nuggets, but I sure hope this nugget was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.